Okay. I am going to be showing you how to complete green sheets through the KW website. So I'm wanting to just kind of walk you through the process. The first thing that you're going to want to do is to go to mykw.kw.com and you'll log in. Then you'll go to this technology tab near the top and you'll go down to where it says green sheet. At this point, this is going to be your dashboard where you can see different green sheets that you may have already done, that you may have initiated, or that you've already submitted, or that's something that has been accepted from Keller Williams Legacy Group. And that's where you would find that at. But for now, we're going to go ahead and hit create a green sheet where we will start processing our first green sheet together. At this point, it's going to ask you if you are the listing agent for the property. The reason that they're asking you this is because if you say that you are the listing agent, it's going to look to see if it's already in the system through the KW site. Because it's already been listed on the MLS, it would pull that information. So you do not have to ever say that you are the listing agent if you want to enter that information already. Just right from the start, enter it. However, if it is already in there, then you can hit that you are the listing agent so that you don't have to repeat that information. In this case, I'm going to just say that I am not the listing agent. And then it's going to ask, is this a KW listing? And I'm going to again say, no, it is not. For myself, I actually work out of a couple different market centers. So at this point, it's just going to ask which market center I want to complete my green sheet for. Likely for you, you will not have any options here. It'll just have one market center. So for this one, I'm going to click on Legacy Group, and then I'm going to hit submit. Now we can get started on the actual green sheet. So for this one, it's going to ask what kind of property it is. And so it just gives you the option of residential and commercial. So I'm assuming at this point that majority of your green sheets will be in fact residential. Oops, I apologize. So the first thing is they want the last date of the contract that was signed. So you just go through your purchase agreement and you find out when that last date of the contract was. So check where those initials are and when the last date for the purchase agreement was signed. In this case, it was signed on May 13th. The closing date is the next item that you'll need. Again, not possession time, but the actual date of closing on the contract. And in this case, it is 6/18. And then the type of, for the next section, it just says transaction type. And so we're going to say, are we selling the property or is this for a buyer sale, or perhaps you're representing both sides? In this case, it is going to be for a buyer sale. The class is simply going to be, is it for a property or a lease? So in majority of cases, it's always going to be property. Other would be if you are just getting some kind of money, kind of like a referral. You're not really representing them, but you are going to be receiving some money from the deal, some kind of commission. That would be other. The property type, again, for my sale, it's going to be a resale. And then the rest of those blanks you do not need to fill out. In most cases, you're going to make sure that you fill out what is in the red. I personally like to put what the MLS number is if I have it, and if there is an MLS. It's just a great way to reference back to a property. Should someone have a question on the green sheet later, I like to always include the MLS number so that I can reference it back later. For this particular property, I do not have an MLS number to list. The next item that we're going to do is the street number, and is just in fact the street number. This particular property has two street numbers, so I'm just going to list it as such. And then the street name. Again, I don't need to fill out anything that's not in the red. This property is located in Canton. And for the zip code, it is going to be 44705. If you hear some scratching on the floor, that is my dog in the background. I do apologize. The county is going to be in Stark County. The earnest money for this property is going to be that they are going to be holding $5,000 for the earnest money, and it's going to be held by Stonegate Title. And so I'm just going to put that and put $5,000 here. Again, I'm looking at the purchase agreement to fill out the majority of this information. The next item is going to be the sales price. And for this sales price, it's going to be $136,000. To figure out commission, I can look on the MLS to see what it was listed, or if I was the listing agent or the agent that I'm filling out the sheet for, I can look to see on the exclusive rights to sell how much a commission was agreed upon. For this one, I know that it's going to be 3%, so I will just put in 3%. If it was just a flat, you just simply put, $1,500 or $2,000 or whatever that may be. So for this one, it's a flat, it's a percentage of 3%. And then I can go to the next section. For these next two columns, it is for the buyer or seller. And then in these sections, whichever side you represent is what the information that you'll have the majority of information for. So since in this particular section, Gina, who I'm doing the green sheet for right now, is representing the buyer, I'm just going to put the buyer's name. And then any other information that you have, you can absolutely list, but you only do have to fill out what is in the red box. For the seller information, I am going to have to reference that purchase agreement and find out what the seller's name is. In this situation, it is John and Elaine. And then I can go to the next section. This part for agent detail, this is going to be where the breakdown happens for any of your commissions. This is going to be the most important page to pay attention to for all of the green sheet. The first thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that your name appears here in agent A. I'm going to change it over to Gina's name because that is who I am filling out the screen sheet for. I'm going to choose the correct person there. And then I'm just going to list for agent role. I'm just going to say who she is in the deal. So in this case, she is going to be the buyer specialist as she represents the buyer. The next section for type, it's going to be a buyer sale. If it was just receiving a referral, it would be an inside sale. But for this one, it is going to be a buyer sale. For agency, am I going to be just representing the buyer, or is it going to be that I'm representing both sides of the deal? And in this case, it is only the buyer. We want to make sure that we know the number of units that they will receive for this sale. So if it was a package deal and there's three completely separate properties that there's multiple units involved, then it would be something other than one. But majority of times it is going to be a total of one sales unit. If you do have questions because you're selling multiple addresses, what it may be, I would suggest contacting the market center to ask them if it is considered to be one unit or if there's multiple units that you would get credit for. The next section is your gross commission. This number is going to auto-populate from when you filled out the sales price and if it was a percentage above. So it does auto-populate in this case to $4,080, which is correct. And then you're going to, below, you're going to find out if you have an outside referral for the deal, outside referral percentage, or just an outside referral, just a flat fee for it. And then you would put that in there. We do not have an outside referral for here. And so we're going to leave those blank. And you do not need to put anything in there. For the next section, for MC approved concessions, that's going to be 0. And then for bonus or admin fee, if you are on the 70-30 split, then you would put down $75 because you will receive the $75 from the brokerage fee. However, if you chose to be part of the 80-20, you would put $0 there, as no part of the brokerage fee will be going back to you to help you meet your caps for the transaction. So in this case, we're going to put Gina down at the 70-30. And so we're going to go ahead and give her the $75 here. The next section, this will always stay 100% to agent. You don't even have to question it. It's always going to be 100% to agent. Then below, it's going to show the split. And so depending, again, if you're on the 80-20 split or the 70-30 split, you would want that number to reflect. That's something that you've decided with your market center. Below here, you're never going to touch this number here, the 6, but are you capped on royalties? You would know if you are capped on royalties because you will see a nice congratulatory email from the market center. And so we will say that yes, Gina is in fact capped on royalties. Inside referral, the inside referral is actually how you would pay if you were giving Gina part of that deal because you were in her coaching class and she assisted you. This is where you would make sure that you put any portion that she would receive on this section. And so this plus or minus, you want to make sure that it is allowing you to change to a minus sign because you're subtracting this amount from the commission on the deal. And there is a glitch in the system where it will not always allow you to mark it down that you are subtracting the amount. So I'm just going to see here, kind of play with numbers here to see if they allowed me to take any part of this off. No. So in this case, it would not allow me to add Gina in. And so in that situation, you would leave it in the notes section below, and then someone from the market center will adjust things according to making sure that Gina is paid on that deal. Below here, kind of think of this section as like the pink sections that you fill out. You do need to make sure that you have something here. So this is just asking about KW Cares. If you wanted to put any of your proceeds to KW Cares in here, I did not ask Gina if she was going to be making any kind of donations on this deal. So I will go ahead and put zeros and then just kind of read through those options to see if that's something that you are ever interested in. Then below the bottom, all of these sections are going to be left empty, except for this bottom one for the transaction fee. And we're going to say that it is 0 because she again is on that 70-30 split. So it's going to be 75 at the top for, let me just look at this section again. $75 at the top here because it is a 70-30 split. And then it's going to be 0 at the bottom. If it were an 80-20 split, you would put 0 at the top here and 0 at the bottom here. The last thing is, and I kind of scrolled over this. Apologize. Oh, I did get it correct. So 70 split here, and then is she capped on royalties? Yes, she is. And then at the bottom here, this is what the net would be, assuming that, you know, she has not fully capped on company dollar, only fully capped on the royalties. So that would be all that she has to do here. And then we'd go to the next section. Just to show you again what would happen if you were able to, I apologize, if you were able to put down that this inside referral, because there was a sign here to say you're going to subtract it, then you would have, you would put this information here. Then in this column, you could have the person who that money is going to go to over here. And then you would just list all those same things, but you would put down that they would not be getting any of the brokerage fee. And then at the very bottom, again, no brokerage fee, and it would just net out what they are supposed to get of your commission, the part that you have to pay out to them or get to pay out to them for their assistance and help. So we will continue going down here to the next section. This you're going to want to find on either the MLS or on your purchase agreement. And so I will fill this out. You do want to give yourself a little bit of information should you ever have to go back to the screen sheet to refer back to. So in this case, it's going to be Michael Love. Oops, I apologize. It is going to be EXP Realty. And it's going to be Michael Love. That's all the information that you need to have. You can go to the next section. For the mortgage company, if they are using lending on this deal, again, this is just a great way to make sure that you have written down what, who the company is that you're going to be working with. You can try to find it in this list of all these many different companies, or you can just go to the very bottom and you can type it in under other. If you click other, you can type in the information, but I did find our lender right here. So I'll fill that in. And if you do know the loan officer's name, it's always a good idea to put that in there. Then for the closing company, this is going to be who title is working with. And for this one, it is going to be Stonegate Title. And if you do know your escrow officer's name, it's a good idea to put that in there as well. If there is a home warranty, you can put who the home warranty is going to be through. If you do not put down that there's a home warranty, it will not make a difference as far as commission is concerned, but it does give you that option to kind of note it in the file whether or not there was a home warranty. Next section, this is the section that if you were unable to add Gina to pay out as an inside referral, you would go ahead and put her information here and the Market Center would adjust commissions accordingly. After all that is done, I highly suggest that you go back to that agent detail. Green sheets do have several glitches in them, so it's a good idea to go back, make sure that all that same information is there, and then once you see that it's the same thing that's netted out at the bottom, then you would go ahead and hit submit to MCA. At that point, you have completed your green sheet. The difference is here, if this is a listing, this information here is not going to be buyer specialist. It'll pull up information about being a listing. If you ever have a hard time that your commission right here is not accurate, go back up to where it says price, commission, and earnest money and escrow, because what you put down here and the percentage or the flat fee, whatever this amounts to, that's what it's going to want to turn up. That is going to want to match what it is below as well. Last thing I want to show you is an agent detail. Let's say that you have an outside referral. If you put down that there's an outside referral, let's say for this one, it would be $1,500. It's going to pop up saying, enter referral data in the outside referral section below. And you would just hit OK. And then below here, it's at the bottom of the green sheet information. It's going to actually say who is this outside referral to. So at this point, you would want the brokerage name and the amount of money. This section is paid by, and this is column A. If you see at the top, you are considered to be agent A here. So it'd be paid out of this person's commission. And that is an outside referral, meaning it is not within, not on your team if you are in a real estate team, and it is outside of your market center. That would be considered an outside referral. Coaching is not considered an outside referral. It is considered to be an inside. I just want to make sure I have the right terminology. Yes, inside referral right here. Once you have that information, you scroll on back to the bottom and hit submit MCA, and you have submitted it. If you decide later that there is something that you did incorrectly, please contact your MCA at the Market Center, explain the situation, send them an email, and they'll get all that information corrected in the system so that it is right for you. I think that that's it. I hope that this helped you to better understand how to enter green sheets. Thanks so much.